No idea. No idea. So no idea. Okay, no idea. Okay, great. So just so everyone knows, we have, we'll introduce ourselves in a minute here, but we have a wide range of people in here. Everyone from who walked in saying this is day one, I have no idea, all the way to, you know, probably me and Evan. But there's somebody said 5 years. Been doing it for 5 years. Okay.
Doesn't mean I'm good at it.
I've been parenting for 20, and I would say I'm probably still learning every day. Okay, great. So I got your, I don't want to spend too much time going around too much because I want to use today as, you know, as effectively as we possibly can. So I read through all your registrations, those of you that sent a registration in, and there were two, I mean, it just jumped out. It was absolutely obvious. There was a group of the new people who are like, I don't know. And then there's a group of, I've been doing this for 5 years and I'm just kind of hit that wall and I need help getting over it just to take it to the next level, right? And I know exactly how that feels. I've been there. So we will spend the morning generally together. So I brought my little piece of paper with my notes from Becca of what it is that she wanted me to go over. And the idea was to spend the morning with everyone together where we will talk about the table. We purposely did not assemble it. So we'll have to figure out how to make sure that Bethany and Jerry get, you know, benefit of that. But we wanted to go through that, organize the table. We'll go through the missions. I've got the game guide here. We'll go through the missions. We'll talk about how you build the pieces, how you attach them to the mat, and then we'll start strategizing about what could be some ways to go about it. I don't know if anybody's gone online, but those crazy Germans who I've seen live, a couple of years ago, I judged them at Worlds, have 590 points on the table that they did in 1 week. I have no words. This is why I lovingly call them the crazy Germans. I have a video of them 2 years ago when I judged them, and they had the highest worldwide scores. Well, that team, which I think most of them have aged out now, which in Europe it's 16, here it's 14, but in Europe it's 16. And they posted a video this week of what they did in a week. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we'll have a look at that. But what's good about what they did is we can take it, we can dissect it, right? We can go watch 10 seconds of it, and then we can talk about what did they do, why did they do that way, how many points it gets them. So by the time you leave, you should know that, and I will too, and Evan will too, because we're your judge advisors at the state competition and at some of the qualifiers. We'll all know this table much better. As you know, they forgot to put a foot on the mat this year. Very different. That's one thing. And some of the secrets we'll talk about today is how the judging has changed this year. There is no table in the robot design room this year. Let that sink in.
Okay.
No.
They're just starting. What is a table and it's like? Why?
We'll talk about. You'll know all of that. That table, this setup, it used to be in the robot judging room, so the kids would walk in and that table would be set up.
Yep.
It's been like that for 12 years. I've been doing it. It's gone.
So what does that mean?
It means you got to present your robot in a completely different way. So I'll give you guys some ideas for coming here. You'll go into competition with information that a lot of the teams don't have yet, which is that you got to rethink. We all have together, we're going to rethink how to present your robot when you go into robot design judging. And that's why I brought binders and folders and stuff like that. I'll give you lots and lots of ideas, okay? So, and the way that we calculate scores and rankings and so has completely changed this year. So we'll talk about that. Not completely, but it's changed, okay? So she wants me to talk about that. She wants me to go through all 3 sections. We'll talk about the project and what that should be. It'll probably be a little bit of a shorter section. Gigabytes have been extremely good in projects. So Evan can help us with that part of it. And then we'll talk about core values, which are the 3 judging sessions you go into. Robot, project, core values. We'll go over all of that. That's this morning. And then this afternoon, what she
Yeah, that's
wants
just
us
this
to
morning. This is a
do.
fire hose of
Yeah.
the first Lego league.
Yeah. You're brave by 4 o'clock, you're like, I'm out of here. And of course, at 4 o'clock, anybody who wants to go have a beer. Okay, so, and then we'll split up. So Tammy Hanley, who maybe some of you know, will come over about 11:30 or so. And rookies, you guys will go next door. And when I moved to Alaska in 2008, Tammy was my kid's first coach. She's been doing it longer than I have, longer than Evan has. And she's fantastic at explaining, to new teams that are coming in. So if that's what you want to go do, we'll put you next door and she'll get you set up. When you say things like, I don't know what judging is going on, what's in the room, what do they show up with, we'll get you all set up. By the end of the day, you'll know. And then what we'll do in this room is we will program. So if you have a robot, I brought our last competition robot that we used at Worlds. I brought that. We can follow lines. I can talk to you about gyro. We can talk to you about the shape of the robot and why I'm having you guys do a square robot rather than that kind of triangular education one. We'll talk about that. I think that's it. That's what we have. That's what we have on the agenda. Is there anything you came in here that you wanted to know that I haven't told you? Yes, ma'am.
Just the computer equipment that's capable of running
Okay.
the robot
Okay.
brain.
We'll get you set up with that. Then you'll be programming by the end of the day. I guarantee you. We'll have you, as long as your laptop
That's
will
what I need to
install.
know. This one is
Yes.
okay.
I've had issues where people bring laptops that are school district laptops and that won't let them install stuff. That I can't
This
do
is a
anything.
personal
Okay,
home one.
we
so-
will have you going. I have kids coming in at some point, that are better programmers and builders than I am, that are coming in. So if you need like one-on-one, like let's get you set up, I will give you to Alexa or Kirsten's coming in, we'll get you set up. You'll be good by the end of the day. Anything else that anyone's worried about? Okay, on the phone, any questions?
They have to unmute themselves.
They do, but if I don't see you on mute, I'm gonna assume you guys are happy. Okay, so how about Evan, you want to start? You want to introduce yourself first?
Sure. I'm Evan. I was coaching Gigabytes for about 5 years. The last couple of years, the girls have aged out, so now we just volunteer mostly. We went to 4, no, I think it was all 5 state competitions. So what will happen, so this makes sense to some of the newer ones, you'll go to a qualifier, and then each team that gets a trophy, and things have changed just a little bit, and we'll talk about how trophies and whatnot work this time. But we'll get there. Each team that gets a trophy gets to advance to the state level. Well, at the state level, there's usually 60 teams that from all over the state that compete, and then you go for all the big trophies and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Gigabytes made it every year. They learned all kinds of stuff. They became mentors for other teams, and you'll see Kirsten. She was talking about Kirsten. Kirsten's my daughter. She'll come in later and talk all about stuff. And Alexa will come in and talk about all kinds of
She
stuff.
might even drag.
Those girls are.
You might even
fully
drag
immersed.
Mitchell. Yeah.
I am curious, how many of you have ever been to a state competition?
There's a state competition, the one in the high school, the one that the
Yes.
earthquake happened last year, and everyone went to state, that was the state.
Yes.
Yes.
So I've been.
You've been there.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys know how crazy state competitions can be. Okay. That's where it gets really interesting. Qualifiers are a lot of fun, but state competitions is where it gets really
How
crazy.
do you get to these chats?
Anyway, so I do
It's
this
fun.
all the time. Landmine trains
Oh, this
coaches
is
all the
okay.
time, and that's really that's kind of run down for me.
Okay. Oh, Jerry's saying she's been there. Let me see if this isn't. Hang on, Jerry. There we go.
There we go. Wonderful. JTC was that.
Oh, that is
Bethany,
good.
thank you. Got to hear you guys. Will not be in video. Fairbanks, good morning. Jerry, I'm online. I can hear you. Cannot get the video, but I hear you fine. Sitting here. I'm sitting in for John. Okay, I've been in state competition. Jerry's been there. Yeah. So you know John Deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's
And I know Jerry.
Jerry judged with us last year. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally.
Okay, so that's Evan. So for me, I moved to Alaska on August 18th, 2008, and on August 19th, 2008, I was involved in robotics, and it hasn't stopped since then. Like I said, we walked into the school. There was a piece of paper that says, "Do you want to do robotics?" We signed up. Tammy ended up being my daughter's coach. The other two were too young at the time. And you know, you parent, and then you co-coach, and then someone goes, "I'll coach with you if you coach with me." And then I've written books over there about how to run a season, about how to run an event. I've done all kinds of coaching. My Brickmasters have won the state competition 3 years. We went to St. Louis for Worlds 1 year. We went to Legoland 1 year. And we won robot performance that year on the table. We won the highest score, and this was against Germany. And then we went back to Worlds, but that year was in Houston. So we've seen it at every level. We've seen things that just every time we would travel, we'd go, "Whoa, look at what they did," and you learn from the experience. So lots and lots and lots of information to share with you.
So hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good trial. She also was awarded the Coach Mentor of the Year award. What was it called?
Yeah, I was coach of the year.
At Worlds.
At Worlds.
At Worlds.
At Worlds.
Not just at the
That was all
local
Becca.
level.
That was Becca.
So yeah, she doesn't act like a superstar, but her whole team.
I'm sitting there, you know, and there's like a room full of people, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I did that. I did that." And I went, "No." And Becca and Dave were in the audience, and they had submitted my name. So it was really nice. Okay, so let's start with basics. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. Do you know how to share? I don't know how to share. Stop video, mute, participant, share.
Yeah.
And I want to share this, and let's hope that works. And, okay, and we'll go here. Start from the beginning. Does that work? Okay. All right, we'll go through just some very basic things. This is who I am. I need to update it a little bit, but what I really want to say about this slide is that many years ago, I started a nonprofit for robotics called AOS Robotics. I have a tax ID, and I think I'm missing a 3 in there. But anyway, we have a website. If ever you have someone who wants to donate money to your team, but they'll only do it if you have a nonprofit, let me know. I'll take the money and I'll write you a check right back. So it could be anything. So the Moose bots from Moose Pass went to Virginia this year for a competition. They gathered all kinds of donations from all over Seward and Moose Pass. They sent all the checks to me, added them all up. I'm on the board with Evan. Evan and I signed the check. We give it right back to her, and she gets 100% of that. She got 100% of her donations back. So sometimes you'll have people who want to help you out that way. Just let me know, and we can help you. We can help you handle that. Okay. Okay. I always like to say, why do we do this? All 3 of my children have been doing this for a long, long time. Why? We were saying this morning, why do we do this? Yeah. We do this because we love it, right? We love it, and I love what it gives the kids. And the robot, kids, plug your ears, has everything they learn has very little to do with the robot in and of itself, right? What it has to do is all these things, right? It's what I found as a parent is that it's been an opportunity for me to teach life skills to my children in a way that I would not have had the opportunity to do with other things. I'm not putting down, soccer and volleyball and all that stuff, but this really has a particular way of teaching them, perseverance and patience and teamwork, and how, undoing what another person built yesterday is not okay, and this kind of stuff. It's really important.
Okay, so that we'll just jump over that.
This is probably the most important slide of the day. Don't panic. When they put this program together, they're trying to address everything from brand new all the way to the crazy Germans, right? So everyone on that spectrum, there has to be something that's challenging to them, right? So if you're new and you look at everything that's on this table, there's no way. But just know that some of the missions are intended for newer teams and some of the missions are meant to be very, very challenging, right? It's okay. You don't need to do all the challenges that are on that table. You know, the project and core values and, you know, focus on certain things in the first year. The first year that we did it, we didn't even do a project at all. We built a robot, we did 2 or 3 missions, and we came up with a team name that you have no idea. Team name. That can take days, right? You come up with this stuff, and then year 2, we did the project. So don't panic. Just take whatever bits and pieces of the program work for you and for your kids this year, and then add to it next year. It is meant to be a multi-year journey where every year you'll pick up more and more and more. And when we aged out, there were still things we wanted to do. So it's okay. You wanna? It's about right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so very, very quickly, does anyone know what FIRST is, what it stands for? For Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. Okay, so it was started by Dean Kamen, the guy who invented the Segway. He is single, doesn't have any children, lives in an octagonal shaped house in New Hampshire, and started this back in 1989 because he was very, very upset that the US wasn't rating very well on the scale of math and science. And he came up with this idea to build robots as a competition. He's got, haven't checked lately if there's more, but if you go on TED Talks, he's got a couple of TED Talks. He never prepares for presentations. He did not prepare for his TED Talks. He always wears denim. His entire wardrobe is denim shirts and denim pants. I've gone to a volunteer dinner at World at FIRST where Will I Am of the Black Eyed Peas was there. He's a huge supporter of FIRST. He supports teams in inner city Los Angeles, where everyone's like all dressed up and we got our high heels on and the whole bit. He shows up, denim shirt, denim pants. He doesn't have a speech ever. His assistant goes, today's 10 minutes. He'll give us 10-minute talk. If he's got 30 minutes, he'll give us 30-minute talk. He's just very, very interesting guy. So his vision basically transform the culture by creating a world where science and technology are celebrated and where young people dream of becoming science and technology leaders, right? So it's meant to make it cool. This is a picture from World that gives you an idea. It's just absolutely pretty. And this is just one of the stages that they have. So there's 4 programs, and I'll talk about them in a minute. And this just gives you an idea of how many people are involved, and it's growing all the time. Sure. Yeah, and this is from a couple of years ago. Yeah.
44,000
teams. Yeah, when you look at our 4 programs. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, so let's go through some of this. These are websites. I'll give you all of those. This is Becca that we just met. And this is Dave. If you do robotics, you know who Dave is, always in the show. And some of their and some of the websites that you'll need. So if you want to know the events that are going on right now, I go to jedc.org for Alaska. They've got events in there. So if you want to see what the qualifiers are in Juneau, in the Valley, the virtual, you want to know when state is, we can go look at it if you want. Where all the events are, that's where you'll find them, okay? Some of our donors, and I gotta say, I'm worried about this one. BP gives $90,000 a year. They haven't made a payment for 2020. Becca's worried. I don't know what's gonna happen. Health Corp, who's taken over for all their assets in Alaska, the privately owned company by a strange guy who lives in Texas, and we don't know. We just don't know. So we're a little bit worried about the longevity of the program, but hopefully we're okay for a couple of years. We'll see. All right, so the 4 programs are, first I believe, junior for kiddos, K through 4, K through 3, 3rd grade. Here's us. We're going to be spending the whole day talking about that today in first I believe. The next level is First Tech Challenge, where the robots are 18 by 18 by 18. You play on a 12 by 12 field, 4 robots on the field. This is where my kids are today. I can't remember the last time, 30 or 40 teams in the state of Alaska. And then the last one, which is actually where first started back in 1989, was over here with what they call the FRC. There's only one team in Alaska that does FRC. The robots are gigantic, and they play on a basketball-sized field. So here in Alaska, they have to travel. My kids, for spring break the last couple of years, I've gone down to Portland and Seattle to qualify to go to Worlds. So let me just make sure we don't have anybody lost, and we don't. Okay. So, let me see a little bit about FLL. So your team should be kiddos in grades 4 to 8, age 9 to 14. If you ever go to World, you'll see kids this big shaving with like they're 16, crazy. Up to 10 members per team, that's the maximum size. So those of you that have teams in the pool, that's the most you can take. The perfect number, in my opinion.
I like 6.
I like 6.
Yeah.
I like 6. That's if you can do 6, you can do 6. You can do 2 teams of 3. You can do 3 teams of 2. You know, it just
And that
works
is
well.
a hard set rule. That is not a, you can show up with 12 kids.
You can't have the limit.
No.
No.
It's 10, and that's how it is. Now, the other 2 can be support members. They just can't.
Part of the team. Yeah, you no more. You have to have 2 adult coaches because of the rules that they have on safety. You have to have 2, and I don't know if you've registered your teams, but you can't get past a certain point until both your coaches are in there and both your coaches have passed their background check. Okay, until then, it just doesn't let you go past that point. So be very, very serious about that. You can coach multiple teams if you want to. There's schools where you'll have one main coach and several co-coaches, and one person takes care of all the administration. That happens all the time. You can be school-based, community-based, we don't care. And there's overlap for kids that are in grade 7 and 8. They can do both FTC and FLL. You cannot be on 2 FLL teams, but you can do, my kids did that 1 year. They were FLL and then they were FTC. Hi, bud, you wanna come in? I don't know, you must be with someone.
All
right.
Quick question.
Up there?
Gentleman against the window, you had a question?
I think you might have answered it. What I was going to ask is, Kenny, I understand there's a 10-member maximum, but any school or if you have more than one team.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. So I went to Bethel a couple weeks ago, and I gave them a talk like this. And so they have that number, something like 17. And so he puts himself, Colin puts himself as the coach for all 17. And then each team has a co-coach that really runs that team. But they all come out of lower Cotten.
Actually, let's hit on that, because
Okay.
this is very important, especially for new coaches. Everybody can get super excited at some point. And you'll want to have multiple teams possibly at your school. Be careful, because you can overload yourself very quickly.
Yes, take care of
2,
yourself.
3, 4 teams, you're going to overload yourself, quite honestly. Because there are some schools that have 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. And if you have this, like you were talking about, that's fantastic. If it's you and one other person that's running these 4, 5, 6 teams, I highly recommend figuring out a way to, and we want to keep everyone encouraged, but whittle that down in some way so that it's not overbearing for you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to become ineffective that many teams. And so it'd be better to whittle that down and encourage those kids.
Yeah,
in other
because
ways.
you can really, it can suck your will to live sometimes when you have that many teams.
Not good.
You've got to have good helpers. You really do, right? We want you to do this for a long, long time. And I've seen coaches do it 1 year and go, I'm done. It's crazy. And that's what happened. They took on too much.
They're just burnt out.
Okay, let's see. So, I don't know if Scott still designs it. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know.
Either.
But anyway, so that's Scott Evans. He has in the past, and I think he's still involved, at least as a consultant, designs this map, designs the challenge, designs all the pieces and so on. Every year the challenge changes topics. So this year it's city planning, architecture, building, construction, which I think is a fantastic topic for Alaska. We have so many sort of local, unique problems that we have here that I think are just could be fascinating. So we'll get into more into the problem here in a minute, or talk about the project. But basically the competition has 3 parts: core values, project, and robot game. And the kids will go and be judged in each of these 3 sessions. So the order varies, but they'll do something in core values, they'll do something in project, they'll do something in robot game. I'll get into much more detail here in a minute. But usually it's released in August. Used to be late August, they do it early August now, where they release this, right? You get this out and you go, okay, this is the rules, this is how it looks, this is what we're allowed to do, this is how it gets laid out, right? And then the pieces start shipping. And has everyone gotten their pieces and their mats? And no, is it ordered?
Yeah.
Not there yet. Okay. So we'll talk about that a little bit. What to do with that? Just do not open up those bags and throw it in your Lego collection. Please. don't
Sorry,
do
that comes from real world
And
experience.
it's a real world experience. Don't do that, right? It'll come, I don't know where I ended up putting my box, but it comes in a long, long box because your mat is rolled up in there. And we'll talk about in a minute what you do with it, but just don't open up those bags and throw them in your collection.
We've actually had multiple teams that have done that. They just popped it into a bucket and then said, okay, well,
Okay,
build
now
them.
what?
No, and for those that build them, okay, they come, let me scope this for 1 second.
Yeah,
They come in very specific bags.
yeah,
And it will give you instructions for this is how you build this, and oh, here's another 10, and oh,
Yeah.
here's another 10.
yep,
Okay, those are all one mission model. Okay, say it's this, right? Whatever. It will give you very specific instructions for that. If you start taking the Lego pieces and just dumping them into a bucket, this is very hard to figure out which little tiny pieces, because I don't know, there's probably 12,000 pieces or something by the time you put all the mission models.
Yeah.
Maybe not that many, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
So keep it separated.
Yeah.
And
Keep it
what we
separated.
like to do as a team is,
Yeah.
say you have 6 people. We'll just go with 6. Here's your mission model, here's
Yeah.
your mission model, here's
Yeah.
your mission model, and they'll sit there and do a little team building exercise while they sit and build their one little mission. Now they'll sit there with their smart devices or whatever, and they'll go, okay, here's our build instructions, because the build instructions are very, very specific. I mean, they will.
and
lay it
I'll
out.
pull them up in a
Yeah,
minute. I'll
they
show you
lay
where
it
to get
right
them
out.
and how to do it. I'll pull
That's
them up.
how
Yeah.
you do it.
And a suggestion is
Yeah.
that, like either empty EV tubs
Yep.
or
Totally.
the paper box lids are
The
your,
lid works well. You
Yeah.
got a lid?
they're your
Yeah.
friend.
Because they've got a ledge to them, so
Yep.
you dump all your pieces in there because they tend to roll off. And that works really well. You can use trays. And yeah. Good thing. So this is my second year doing it. Last year when we built the model, we were careful like you said. And it took us a long time to build this model. This year, we were done this year. So I don't know why. Was that experience?
Yeah.
No, was it? Oh, or was the model easier this year?
I think there's fewer models.
Ah,
There's fewer
I
models.
built that last night with my daughter. There were some tricky parts to it, like the ramp was tricky. Yeah. It just seemed a little easier. Good. This year. Right. And
And we have a totally new team too.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's not like the kids are rolling over.
I was just curious.
Oh, it was brand new team? Even
Yeah.
like, because that's the other thing is, once kids figure out, and we all play with Legos, I get it, but these are technique parts, right? Which they go together a little differently than say these pieces of Lego right here. These are regular Lego pieces.
Yeah.
Once those kids start figuring that out, they snap those pieces.
Yeah.
They're so big.
I was just curious. Yeah, no, that's good. That's encouraging. That it's not taking that long and you can move on to the next step. That's really good. So generally speaking, this is how a season goes, right? So your team, if you're not registered, let me know. We'll try to get you registered today. The challenge has been released. We're past this point. I will look at the schedule here in a minute, but I think all of the FLL qualifiers are in December this year. Sometimes they roll into January. In January, we're going to have the state tournament, which is here in Anchorage, and then she being Becca, will sometimes have the Anchorage piece is invitational. You have to qualify for it in one way or another, and there's different ways you can qualify. There's one in Fairbanks some years, and the one in Fairbanks is open. And that's what we practice until they all out of the car, and they drove to Fairbanks, and they ended up winning. And that's how they ended up in Virginia. And then, winners of the state competition end up somewhere out of state. And sometimes it's the top 2 teams, sometimes it's the top 3 teams. It depends on how many invitations
Okay. All right. We won't get into too much of that, but you should
I've gotten to a place by this point where you see kind of this screen is this completely new to anyone. Yeah. So you haven't registered your team yet at all?
Well, I'm not finder.
Okay. 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 All right. So this is where you'll see, what it is that you have to get registration and all your teams that you have listed are on here. We can go live on any one of these, and if you want to see, if you want us to help you get to your dashboard and see what's going on, we can get into that. I'll just skip over it now so you can get into the meat of the challenge. Okay, I'm not going to get this. Kip, go ahead, Jerry.
I don't have anything. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay, sorry. It started echoing. Okay. Kip, you need at least 1 per team. So if you have 3 teams, you're going to need 3 EBC kits. You cannot share robots between teams. Okay? You can even have a team that has more than 1 robot. You can do that. You just cannot show up at the competition table with 2 robots. You got to choose. So you can do 1 match with 1 robot, and you can do match 2 with the 2nd robot if you want to. That can be similar or completely different. You can do that. You just cannot show up at the table with both of them. One has to stay. I've never seen anyone do that. Have you ever seen anybody do that? I've never seen anybody do that. It's hard enough to build one. You're not building a 2nd one.
When some of the attachments show up, though, it looks like a whole 2nd one.
Yeah. Well, not this year. Hopefully we'll be limited in size. Okay, so if there's any questions about that, let me know. You guys said you didn't want to talk about meetings, so we won't talk too much about that. Do you want to talk about tournaments at all, or do you want to start digging into the challenge for this year? Do you want to know a little bit what happens at a qualifying? You do? Okay. So let me do this. Of the experienced people, because what we could do is put this on Tammy. Let's put that for rookies. Let's put that on Tammy's list of the
Tammy list.
Tammy. So we'll do what to expect at a qualifier. How's that? All right, so if there's anything else, we will add it to the list, but she will give you all the details. Let me see here what else. Okay, very quickly. Those have changed, so we'll move on to that. So the idea of core values is that, which is very different, is that we're all in this together. So we dropped the robot one year, so the Brickmasters t-shirt says don't drop the robot. We dropped the robot. And pieces went flying in the middle of the state competition. Absolutely horrible. And other teams went, woo! And they started picking up pieces with us, and they gathered all the pieces, and they put everything on the table. My kids all got around the table, and the other teams were like, nope, don't talk to them, don't talk to them, they're busy, they're busy. So they all jumped in and really helped out, and they went into focus mode and rebuilt the robot and did great. So it's really about teaching the kids that we're all in this together, and you don't gain from putting somebody else down, right? That's why we share information all the time. So we started bringing good luck signs at competitions, and all of a sudden, good luck signs started coming up, and it was just really great. What do you want to say about core values? I've got some more.
Core values is probably one of the few most judged things in the entire competition.
Right. So we'll let Tammy get into the details, but basically judges are walking around all the time, and judges aren't necessarily in their judging outfit.
Yep.
You just don't know who's looking. So it's really important to tell the kids to be on their best. The kids, the parents, the coaches, the friends, everybody. Yes, ma'am.
They changed?
It did.
Yeah.
Slightly different last year. It did. Hang on. Let me see if I can do this. Slightly different. So let's do, hang on.
Last year, or no, this is just
The core values? You guys, I think, hang on.
I guess it doesn't matter.
They didn't change much.
I don't know if that's this year.
Can you guys see that? Oh, you can't see that.
You drag it over.
Let's see. Yeah, hang on. Let me, I just want to, here, let me do this.
Yeah, it's very discovery and basic.
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah, and I have it, I updated my book out there, and I have it in there. It's got all those wheels. It's this right here.
I love this.
It changed, let me see. Well, actually, let me do it that way. Where is she? Yeah, ma'am. That's entirely up to Mitchell. We are, yeah. Yeah, I was having problems with it. So pull on it. Shake it. That's the door. That's what I did yesterday. Yeah. She can't get her car out of the garage.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then try it again. You good? Okay, well, take Kendra's car. Okay, bye. Let's do this a different way. This I've got Dropbox, JBots. Let's go to FLL, and we'll go to City Shaper, and we'll go to this guide, which I wanted anyway. And then I'm going to go here, here, here. Okay. Wait, whoops. All right, hang on. Blah. Whoops. All right, so these are the new core values. It's the same core values, they're just slightly updated, right? So inclusion, and they have videos now about this whole topic, but inclusion where we all respect each other and differences. Discovery, we explore new skills and ideas. Innovation, we use creativity and persistence to solve problems. Always say we're not playing with Legos. If you're here to play with Legos, this isn't for you. We're here to solve very complex problems with Legos. Very different. Very different. So when you have the kiddos that are tinkerers and they just build stuff and they just kind of, and they're not interested in looking at the problem, this may not be for them. I had a kiddo like that. He ended up going into the bait club, I think is what it was, and he was fantastic at it. But when it came to this table, he couldn't care less. So teamwork, working as a team, always have fun. And we apply what we learn to improve our world. So when they go into core values, expect questions on these topics. So when the kids go into core values, they bring nothing. Sometimes there's a requirement for a core values poster. We don't have that in the state of Alaska, but there's posters out there you can look at, and you can just look them up. If they want to bring in a poster, they can. But the judges will say things like, what was the hardest thing you did this season? How did you solve that problem? Tell me about, how you use what you're learning in this program outside of your world, right? What do you do with it? So my kids will say, well, I learned video editing. I learned teamwork. I learned, how to solve complex problems and be persistent, that kind of stuff. So that's when you get to core values, that's the kind of questions they'll ask. Oh, yes, hang on. I think I have it right here. Can talk about that for a minute. This is our colors, core values. Do I have it here? Project journey. That's the core. Here we go, judging session. So this is can be a core values poster if you want to make one. But the judging session, you can go in. You've got up to 2 minutes at the maximum though. You can go in with an introduction. So my kids used to go in, and when they were really little, they had a cheer, and then the last year they were too cool for that. So they stopped doing it, but they just walk in and they had a whole spiel. They would go, hi, my name is Alexa. I've been doing FLL for 5 years. My favorite part is, here's how I use it outside of FLL. Hi, my name is Mitchell. And they just go down. 2 minutes max is what you have. And then they're going to be given a challenge. So, build a bridge out of paper clips and straws and rubber bands kind of a thing. You got 5 minutes to do it. They have no idea what it is when they walk in. It changes every competition. It changes. If I can say anything to you about core values, it's not about completing the challenge. It's great if they do, but if they don't worry about it. It's all about how they tackle the problem. So I would coach my kids how to do that. So you're given a problem. So the one we had at state last year was the river fire, and they were given laminated pieces of cardboard, and so if there's 7 kids, there were 6 pieces of cardboard, and they had to figure out how to get everybody across the river of fire, right? So what I coached my kids would be, first and foremost, stop. Everybody just get in a circle. Sure you understand the problem. Ask the judges questions if you need to. Brainstorm some solutions. Pick one, and then execute it. If it doesn't work, just go, do we have time left? We'd like to go try a different solution. And the judges will say, yeah, you get a minute left. So come back, brainstorm another session, and go and do it. Even if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. It's how they're talking to each other, how they're attacking the problem, how they're communicating. That's what they're being judged on.
This right here is so very important because you'll hear, it's said that, okay, the kids are supposed to do all the work. But when it comes to coaching, you still need to coach. And this is the best part to coach on. Teach the teamwork, because that's what separates the brain work.
Yeah. So, and the reason we do this is to see if the kids are learning something about communication and teamwork and problem solving and so on. It'll come out in this. So I'll tell you, 1 year at state, we went into core values at 9. We were the first team to go in. At 9:15, my team came out, of which one of the team members was crying. So I knew that whatever, and I never go into judging, ever. I've never gone in 12 years. I knew whatever it is that happened in that room, it wasn't good. And, oh well, we were done. Like there was no way we were going to win anything when whatever happened in that room made one of my kids on my team cry. And that's when I realized you've got to coach core values. I have a whole book out there where I give you ideas. So basically you want to do all kinds of team building exercises and really coach them about how to talk to each other and how to tackle a problem. And then what they'll have is they'll have questions from the judges. So these are just, I'll send you this presentation if you want it at the end of the day. But these are just sort of typical questions that you'll get asked. And I don't know much about it. We'll have to look it up today. I thought it was going to be in this book, but it wasn't. There's a coaching manual. Did you find it? I think it's got sample questions in there. We'll go find it today. They've got some sample questions in there on core values. Just to give you an idea. I've got 2 pages. So you can just, if you can go through this, you'll be fine. Okay, project. I want to get into the table before we do, but we'll talk about the project. But basically, you identify a problem to solve in your community. And the problem can come from anyone, anywhere. Okay, one year it came from my sister who lives in Edmonton. We got the problem from her. The solution has to come from your kid. Okay, but the problem can come from anywhere. I mean, my grandma who lives in Naknek has, you know, whatever, it could be a problem with her home or how to get to the grocery store or whatever this year, right? Because it has to do with city planning and architecture. The problem can come from anywhere, as long as the team comes up with a solution. So they'll go in, they'll have 5 minutes to present their project. They'll have 5 minutes of questions. They can have costumes, a skit. I've seen an entire song, right? I don't know if you've ever judged these kids, but they had a song. Their whole project presentation. I've had kids do a very traditional, they've got a whiteboard or whatever, and they just do a very traditional presentation. Sometimes they'll have handouts, costumes, I mean, whatever innovative way you could come up with to present your problem, the solution, who you shared it with. I put it in here, right? We would do prototypes. That works very well. This year, because it's architecture, it may be that I've had kids build Lego models of what it is that the solution is. So they show up with this big Lego model and they can show the judges what it is that they're presenting. So you can be as innovative as you want to be in this portion of the presentation. Okay, we'll get into project a little bit more later, but that's just a very quick. Here's the rubric. I think that's changed again this year. Okay, project. We'll get into it. Sample questions, and then the robot game. So this is from a couple of years ago. The robot game, basically in the simplest terms, 2.5 minutes. You show up at the table with a robot, and you try to complete as many of the missions as you can in 2.5 minutes. Period. That simple. Okay? But it's really hard. It's really, really hard. I think probably the best thing to do now is going to be to go to this mat, start talking about this specific mat. We'll talk about the missions. We'll attach them. And what I want to do maybe is to take a break. Everybody can get coffee, something to eat, go to the restroom, and then we'll get this set up in a way that our 2 remote folks can see the table. And then we can all gather around there and talk about what the challenge is this year. Any questions so far? We'll delve into some of these things more as the day goes on, but sort of as a general program, what it's all about. Okay, so let's say, yes. Oh.
You want to cover real quick that we used to say that the robot game isn't as important as it is this year.
Yeah. I can cover that now if you want. So it used to be, you would get judged in project, you would get judged in core values, you would get judged in robot game. And that's 2 judges in each room, all different, right? Then all the robot game judges get together and they figure out who they think did best and all the way down. And then all the project judges would get together and they would rank and core values would rank. And we'd all get together and we're on the whiteboard and there's this big program that first gives us and it would rank everybody. But in order to win, so you would win the competition based on that. But in order to win, you had to be in the top 40% of scores on the table for your 3 matches. But how you scored in that top 40% is completely irrelevant. You could be number 1 or you could be number 39 of 100 teams. It didn't matter. You would win. So when I was at Worlds one year, we had all the teams done, and our winner, our champion for Worlds, match 1, they weren't in the top 40%. Match 2, they weren't in the top 40%. So we're sitting in the judging room waiting to see what's going to happen because they screen everything in the judging room. We're like, please, please, please get in the top 40% because otherwise we can't give them the championship award. And they did. They squeaked by. That frustrated people because people worked really, really, really hard on those robots and then to find out that the score didn't really matter all that much. So they addressed that this year. So this year, yes, we're still going to rank based on robot game presentation or judging on project and on core values. But a fourth, 25% of your sort of overall score this year is going to be based on your highest score on that table. Score matters this year. Okay? No longer do we have a 40% rule. Doesn't matter where you are. Okay? So it's going to be, there's a way, anybody's interested, I can get into it later, but there's a way where we're going to be awarding each team a score based on judging for robot, judging for project, judging for core values, and then whatever your rank is on the table in the gym, there's an algorithm we apply to it. We go that plus that plus that plus that, that's your rank. There you go. Less subjective. They're still subjective. We still have to figure out, from a judging perspective, how we rank people, but it's less subjective than you, and that's core matters. So I think teams will like that a lot better. And for me, makes as judge advisor makes my job a lot easier because it was so subjective before. So yeah, I think it'll be better. Okay, 10-minute break. All right. And we'll figure out how to, do you think it's better to move that over there or this over here? Like roll power there. All right. We're going to get you guys set up somehow over here for Fairbanks and Palmer. Oh, you want to try and do it? See, this is what I'm saying. This room is missing a camera, like they have at UA. Right? So they have a camera over there. Over there. In that room. We tried it last year. That's what I thought. I have 11 kids signed up. We were working for one of them. Oh, okay. You have 29, so it's okay. Now, do you have third graders? Yeah. See, I have third graders. Yeah, they can go and handle around. They have one in the past. The garage door wouldn't close for me yesterday.
Listening. Why is it listening?
Because we said Cortana and she thinks we're talking to her. Actually. Okay.
All right.
So that's kind of like, we're gonna accommodate. Oh, they can't actually compete. They can't compete, but they can go to the competition if they want. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Because, we have 20 times in our group. So. Well, it's after school program. And so, yeah. And then the Lego club, which only meets once a week, is.
Heading over there now, so everyone's still.
Well, there was only gonna be, he said there was only 2 kids signed up until he said that I was the coach. And then several kids switched teams, knowing I was coming back because it's one part. We have never had girls on the team.
Were you able to get out? Were you able to get out? Okay. We'll call the guy. I've got the numbers written right
Yeah, I
next
know.
to the.
I went to Saturday nights last year, just to kind of help out, and was a helper, and I didn't go to any others because I just did not, I just couldn't
Okay.
around that.
Okay. Okay.
It's too hard.
Right.
It's
All right, come on down. We've got people I think that are gonna need some hands-on help, and lots of them have the square robot with them, so we can figure out how to get attachments to that.
That's the part I don't.
The little,
The other stuff I.
Well, I sent you
got-
an email.
it's got,
Take it all right now.
yeah,
yeah.
2 light sensors on there, and it's got, and it's square, it's not that rectangle, that, triangular one. So, all right, come on over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's-
Programming.
Okay.
Where I started last
How do we
year.
do this?
Yeah.
It's
It's totally free and
It's awesome.
so it's free.
I do.
And it's self-paced.
And then they.
Go back and watch it. Stupid. Thank you, Brittany. That's where I started last year. I was like, you know.
Yeah.
You're looking at this, is that what you're doing?
You know,
Yeah.
they do well, they do well, you know.
And
Then
so I
you
went
switch the camera. Whoa, careful.
I'm about to do what she did.
Careful.
You want me to pull up what?
Pull up the share thing, the Zoom thing, and we just need to change the camera.
Oh, I see. Okay, so here. Ooh, how do we do that?
Yep.
Meeting controls. Well, why doesn't it? Oh, hello. It just shows that. That minimizes it. How do we? Oh, maybe it's here. Ah, got it. Here we go. Manage participants. Stop video. No. Mute. Microphone.
It should recognize that second camera.
Here we go. Microphone. Is our microphone
Hold
on
on,
this
you know
thing?
what is, yeah, there's a microphone on the camera.
Okay.
Here you go. Maybe it's this one.
Okay.
HD web, yep. That. Click that. Now, click here. Yep, right there. There you are. Now, but
No, but
that's this one. That's this one. We want to
Yeah,
change that.
we want to change it, right? Is that
Yeah.
not what just happened? Stop share, new share, pause, annotate, remote control, mute.
Click right here. And click HD Pro, that one. Yep.
Aha!
There we are. See, look at that. We're pros.
Okay,
Now we gotta move the
now we
camera.
gotta,
Now
that's
we got
it.
all kinds of stuff.
So now,
What
can we
can do is
blow
can
this
just-
up?
Yeah, let me see this for just a second.
So, there we go. Because what I want to know,
Give me just a second, I'll be right back.
there we go.
You hear me? I'll be right back.
Okay. No, it won't let me go any bigger. Okay, all right, I've got to run to the restroom or I'm not gonna make it through the next session. Okay.
It's supposed to be like 12 inches by 12 inches this year. If it can fit in the small section. So that one looks too big.
Well, I think they added this on top for some of the things on the, what do you call it? Table.
Yeah.
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 As far as I know, this. This was supposed to come off. And they can program it to do the different.
So they can do this for one of the missions, run it back, take it off, and then go out again for another mission?
Yeah.
Oh,
From what I
okay.
understand, from what I saw in the videos.
Have you done a competition before? This is your first year?
Yes.
Mine too. I'm learning as fast as I can, but there's like so much to understand.
Oh, yes. I went as a coach as a last minute, which I didn't do anything other than drive the students there.
And watch them. Did you get to watch them?
No,
Oh.
because it was during the like, you're the person in charge, go sit over there, and the students went and did their things, and I was like, well, that's odd.
Oh, yeah, that's odd.
It was odd. I had no idea what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you? We're about to watch the video, so that's good for you.
I was decided to go home.
Who went home?
No, the joke. I like it.
Where is she? Oh, what? Him? Where?
You're okay.
And now we have a tripod and everything.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Now we can put that. Oopsie. Oopsie. Oopsie.
Hey.
Don't hello me.
Oh my God. Wow.
Okay.
What are we doing?
We're about to delve into the challenge. Whoops. So, whoops. Did you? There we go. Okay. Do I? Put that there. We'll put that here. Okay. Start at the beginning. There we go. I like that. We'll start right here. Okay. We'll watch the video and then we'll call.
Is this gonna be the Crazy Germans video?
Oh, no, we'll start with this. We'll start at the beginning. We'll talk about the table a little bit, and then we'll pull up the Crazy Germans. And I have something I'm happy to teach you guys called the German calibration. Because they would show up at the table, they'd put their robot on the table, push a button, robot would go, pick up the robot, put it in base, ready to go. So I'm judging them. Calibrating. Got the whole thing automated. They put it on the table. Robot goes, a couple feet, gathers all these measurements about what's white, what's black, what's dark, what's light in this particular lighting in that room at that time. Gather all their recordings, put their robot back in base, because you have a minute. Every time a match starts, you have a minute to set up, do whatever you want. That's what they did. They went on the table, put their robot back in base, ready to go, with their robot fully calibrated. So when I taught UAA summer camp one year, I had this middle school kiddo, a little bit of a loner, really smart, really clever. I didn't know what to do with him, and I said, dude, do you want to help me program the German calibration? He said, what's that? I said, I don't know. I just saw them do something, and I thought it was really cool. Let's figure it out together, and we did. And so we wrote this thing called the German calibration, and I've yet to see someone show up in competition and use it. I would love to see someone do it in Alaska and show up and stick their robot on the table to calibrate their sensors, you know. I think that'd be really cool. All right, let me grab a little coffee. We'll start with the video. I'll walk you guys on how to get to it. We'll watch the video, and then we'll come to the table. We have a little camera here that hopefully our friends in Fairbanks and Palmer can
Elaine,
see what's going on. Oh! Come here.
I have ours is wrong.
Darn good bread, let me tell you. So these are my children, well, two of my three children. This is Alexa, and this is Mitchell.
Why did you give?
He's the 98% introvert.
96.
So J-Bots is who? Tell them who the J-Bots. Actually, let's see. Who's the J-Bots?
I think that's a great question for Alexa.
We're just a bunch of techies. It's our third year as an FTC team. It's me, Mitchell. You don't know who these are probably, but Jackson, Will, and James. I'm the only girl. Yeah.
All right, yeah. And so yeah, so it's a third grade. You're a junior. I'm Canadian, so we say grade 11, but you're what? Junior.
And sophomore.
And a sophomore, and they're also in the FRC team, in their spare time.
But what's the J-Box about? Why is that your name?
Well, because she came up with this name for my sister's FTC team, and she said no. So I said, when I have an FTC team, we're going to name it the J-Bots. So that's just kind of.
And our colors, when we were the Brickmasters, when we did FLL, we were Lego red, Lego yellow, Lego green, Lego blue. And then, but when we were J-Bots, we needed 2 additional colors, so we added the colors. And so, but it's just a bunch of techies. And J-Bots, robots, it kind of.
And it's J-Bots, not J-Bots.
J-Bots. A lot of people try to say J-Bots, but we're J-Bots. So yeah. That's who we are.
They're the J-Bots.
So okay. Do we have? So every team is a team number. So that's our team number, 5223. Very important to have the team number, because the way the scheduling software works, it's typically based on your team number. So when we pass out the schedule for a competition day, it'll typically be done strictly with your team number. So you have to know what it is. What's good from a judge's perspective is I have no idea what the Gigabytes team number was. So if I'm, and so when you're judging, I don't want to see Gigabytes or EOS or all these teams that everybody sort of knows because I've been doing it for a year. I don't want to know. If I'm dealing with team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and team 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're ranking, I have no idea who I'm talking about. So it is completely neutral, right? And so at the end of the day, when we're putting team names next to the numbers, you know, and then I'll go, oh, look who won that, you know, and the Brickmasters ended up being quite well known because our number was 207. We were, I mean, it's in the 20,000s now. So it gives you an idea how long we've been doing this. We were 207.
207.
And 207.
How was our cheer?
Okay, but tell us, I'm gonna go get a coffee. Tell them how we ended up with 207 cheer.
Oh, yeah. So it was St. Louis Worlds the first time we went, and it was, I don't know, this FRC team from Las Vegas, I think, right? And they came over to our pit, and they said, hey, we're FRC team 207, and we wanted to come meet you, you know, the, like, FLL number of our team. And they're like, we went to Worlds the first time, we were all about 12, and they're like 17, 18, so they're like these really big kids, and they came over and watched one of our matches and stood on the sideline and did that cheer. They were doing 207. So then when we went and watched their FRC match later on, we did that cheer for them.
And the rest is history. It was great. I have a picture of that. These big inner city LA kids, you know, coming over to cheer us on. In those days, they were about this tall, you know, it was really cool. Okay, so let's get into this table because we just need to start diving in. So this is firstinspires.org. Can I, okay, so you guys are on microphone, so you need to either shush or move on. I want to make sure that you guys can see, do you see the camera or do you see the screen right now in Fairbanks or Palmer?
We'll do a little panoramic here.
Do I see? I don't know.
See the classroom.
Ooh, you see the classroom, not the, okay, perfect. So we want to do a new share and we want to see this. And we want to do that. And we'll go back to the camera after. Do
They
you
actually see
see
both.
now the firstinspires.org?
I do, thank you.
Yes, excellent. Okay. Firstinspires.org is the main site for FIRST, all programs. So if you go look at programs here, you'll see all 4 of them there. FLL Junior, FLL, FTC, FRC. We are going to go obviously to FLL, and there's a ton of information there. I highly recommend you spend some time there, you know, with a glass of wine one night. But the challenge and season is where you'll have information about what's going on this year, okay? So I'm going to click on that. And here we are. We are in City Shaper, and there's some information about sort of in general where to start. And, you know, there's so much information, it's actually kind of hard sometimes to figure out where to start. So, hey, Alexa, call your sister. Tell her I'm busy. All right.
Children are born.
Oh my gosh. I gotta say that. Oh, yay. Nina's here. Okay. So even logos, right? If you want to use logos in your presentations, first, hey, how are you? Hey. Come on in. There's nobody sitting up front, I think, if you want to. Yeah, there is. Okay. So is it bad? What is it?
I don't know, she said someone will go to the house. Are they getting out of their car? So far.
5-minute break.
Okay. Call your father.
Okay.
And yeah, see if you can get on the camera and see what's going on. We have Vivint. We might as well use it, right? She's worried there's someone at her. Oh, it's Mark. Kendra, it's Mark Lacey. He just texted me. It's stuff for Lori. Okay. Okay. I can live now. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. All right. Okay, so logos, you want the first logo, you want the city shaper logo, any of that. This is where you go, you basically download this zip file and you can use it in presentations and stuff like that. First is very, very picky about about how we use their logo, as any company should be, right? Google's picky, McDonald's is picky. You can get it from there. So you just download that file and off you go. All right. So general information, we're going to keep going to challenge and resources. This is called the resource library. The resource library is there for all 4 programs, and in it, there is so much information, it's almost overwhelming. But here's the majority of everything you'll be needing for this season. Sorry, I've got weird things going on here. Well, the power just, here we go. Hang on. Here we are. Okay. See, it's not giving me power for some reason. So that's okay. We'll do it later. Okay. So I'm going to assume that kickoff video is what we want over here. I just don't want it to die here. Oh, this is an ad. Oh, I was like, geez, what's Brooke Shields doing here? Skip the ad. Okay, no thanks. Let's look at volume.
It's right here.
Oh, you've got it?
Yeah,
I'm at 100%.
To see thousands of cities grow, thrive, and change over time. While civilization has given us a blueprint for how we construct our cities and our environment, it is up to us to forge our own destiny. In Star Wars, there's a belief that even one person's actions can make a significant difference to the entire galaxy. Now it's your turn to shape our growing first city for the better. Let's explore the evolution of cities past and see what we can learn from them. As First City booms and faces challenges for its future existence, your mission is to be a force for change and create solutions to help transportation, the environment, and new buildings to make our home last for over 1,000 generations. Together, we rise. The 2019-2020 First LEGO League season will explore how architects combine science and art to make buildings and structures for their clients. Sometimes they make new buildings, and sometimes they redesign old ones. They work as part of a larger team, just like yours. Structural, civil, and environmental engineers make sure a project suits its site. Construction workers like electricians, plumbers, and carpenters, and project managers make sure the job stays on time and within budget. Every role is important to get the job done. Together, these teams apply the same design principles a Roman named Vitruvius created thousands of years ago. Buildings should be strong, useful, and beautiful. Our cities and towns face big issues like transportation, accessibility, and even natural disasters. How can we shape a better future for everyone? It will take teamwork, imagination, and those Vitruvian principles. What solutions can we create now to help shape an optimal future? How can we use our environment and modern-day tools and technology to build First City to last? A building needs a strong foundation. In all FIRST programs, our foundation is built on our core values: discovery, innovation, impact, teamwork, inclusion, and fun. The core values should be a part of your first LEGO League experience. Use them throughout the season. Your innovation project is one component of the first LEGO League Challenge. This season, you and your team will identify a problem with a building or public space in your community. Not sure where to start? The robot game field has many examples of real-world problems. Explore the real-world problem behind the mission and use it to jumpstart your work. Or pick a problem of your own to explore. Next, design a solution with your team. You may want to research how others have tried to solve this problem. You may improve a solution that already exists or find a brand new approach. Next, be sure to share your solution with others. Helpful feedback can make a good solution even better. So be sure to ask for ideas to improve. If you plan to attend an event, you will also need to prepare a presentation. Your presentation should be 5 minutes long. Be sure to include the problem you identified, what steps you took to research it, and how you came up with the solution you designed. Also, make sure to tell who you shared your ideas with and how you refined your solution along the way. The object of the City Shaper robot game is to shape your growing city with more stable, beautiful, useful, accessible, and sustainable buildings and structures. Solve the real-world problems represented in the missions to score points. As a team, identify the missions you want to solve. Design, build, and program a Lego robot to complete the missions. Use EV3. Test and refine your program and design. Your robot will have to navigate, capture, transport, activate, or deliver objects. You and your robot will only have 2.5 minutes to complete as many missions as possible. So be creative. Now, let's take a tour of the missions.
I'm going to let it run through and then we'll go through it piece by piece.
If the robot is supported by the bridge, if one or more flags are clearly raised any distance only by the robot. Crane. If the hooked blue unit is clearly lowered any distance from the guide hole, supported by another blue unit. And level 1 is completely in the blue circle. Inspection drone. If the inspection drone is supported by axle on the bridge. Designed for wildlife. If the bat is supported by branch on the tree. Treehouse. In this mission, score all that apply. If a unit is supported by the tree's large branches. If a unit is supported by the tree's small branches. Traffic jam. If the traffic jam is lifted. Swing. If the swing is released. Elevator. If the elevator's moving parts are as follows. Blue car down. Balance. Safety factor. If the test building is supported only by the blue beams and some beams have been knocked out at least halfway. Steel construction. If the steel structure is standing. Innovative architecture. In this mission, you can only score on one option. If a designed and built structure made of white Lego bricks, clearly bigger in size than a blue building unit is, completely in any circle, partly in any circle. Design and build. By location, if there are any circles with at least one color matching unit completely in and flat down on the mat. Please note, the blue circle is not part of Mission 12. By height, if there are independent stacks at least partly in any circle, add all of their heights together. Please note, a stack is one or more building units with level 1 touching flat down on the mat and any higher levels touching flat down on the level below. Sustainability upgrades. Upgrades are the solar panels, roof garden, and insulation. If an upgrade is supported on a stack which is at least partly in any circle, please note, only one upgrade will count per stack. Precision. Precision tokens left on the field can result in extra points. Remember to read the robot game rules and check for any updates during the season. Use your engineering notebooks to keep track of your work and ideas throughout the season. You will be amazed at how much you will learn. Good luck this season, and remember, this is more than a challenge. It's an opportunity, a chance for citizens of the galaxy to work together, strengthening and protecting the force that binds us, and creating a place where collaboration and collective wisdom can elevate new ideas and foster growth. Together, we rise. Your presentation should be crucial along the way.
I'm going to find where I want to be.
Solve the real world problem only by the robot. Elevated places. Be creative.
Right there. Okay. Has everyone seen that video before? Is this something that's new to anyone? You've never seen it before? Okay. So that's how they introduce this map and the mission. So they, just to give you an idea, they produce, I don't know what the latest number is, but they produce approximately 15,000 of these. And when they're all taken up by a team, that's it. Registration shuts down for the year, okay? So that's approximately how many of these are produced. And they are, name a country? Yeah, they have it. Peru, China, Korea, Germany, France, they have it, right? So it's all over the world. Everybody gets the same map. Everybody gets the same pieces. Everybody gets the same building instruction. Everybody builds it the exact same way. Okay, you should have your 8x4 table that this is going to fit on, and everybody listens to this video, and then there's a paper version called the game guide that we'll look at in a minute. The game guide is the documented version of that written on a piece of paper, and there are updates usually every Friday. If there's an update, it tends to settle down after 2-3 weeks. And then it speeds up again once competitions get going. But what happens is they write this, and then there'll be a competition, let's say, and someone will go, well, if you read this and you interpret it a certain way, and then they'll give a clarification on the rules. So there'll be updates back on that firstinspires.org right next to the challenge. Yes?
Does that book come with the?
It does not. Let me show you where you get it. So you go back to your First Inspires.
Resource library? It was also in the email you sent us.
It is. This particular one is, but where I want to go, I think is, I guess what I want to do is this, right? I don't want to lose my spot here.
Yeah, it's right below.
Okay, so right here. So you see how right there it says City Shaper Challenge Updates, latest update September 19th, which was 2 days ago, right?
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, they did an update. And then the build instructions. So let me click on this. So
That's in the resources, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We're still in the, so now we're in firstinspires.org, still in our resource library, in the FLL portion, challenge and resources. So what we just watched is 1, 2, 3, it's the fourth one down called the kickoff video is what, and we're going to go back to that in a minute. This challenge here is just a one-page, just a quickie 1-page, here's what we're doing this year. Okay, no details whatsoever. Then we've got the updates are here. I think this is what I have here. Oh, here, this is just the updates pulled out. We're going to need to address power on this thing because, can you do this, Alexa? Yeah, can you see, it's doing something weird. It's just going to die, and then we're going to come to an absolute stop. What if you plug that straight into the floor? Does that help?
Let's try a different.
Oh, okay. I'm just watching that battery thing go down, and it's worrying me. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yes, there we go.
Okay,
See,
good.
now we have power. Okay, good. All right. So this is the list of updates, usually in reverse chronological order. So the newest one will be at the top, and then it just goes all the way down to whatever the first one was. So just to give you an example, okay, bridge barriers not allowed. The only way that robot X can stop robot Y from scoring flag points is to be faster or stronger at scoring. Robot clashes are expressly allowed in the text of Mission 1 by Rule 30th first sentence, but all other competitive action is governed by Rule 30's second sentence. So what it is this white bridge that we've got over here, okay, that the other team's going to show up and they have a ramp that connects that goes on their side of the table. So to get these flags over here that we're going to put on here, right? So these flags, what they've done is they've made it a race. So whoever gets those first gets those points, right? So what they're saying is that and you'll see what the Germans did. What the Germans did, the first thing they do is they go straight out there and they drop a piece to lift the flags, which gives them the score for the flag. But what they're saying here is you can't do anything to block someone from accessing the flags, right? So you can't do anything that's just not nice, basically. So they just clarified that because somebody asked the question, can we do that? Can we block them from getting the flags so that you go off and do your table and at the end of the 2.5 minutes, you come in and then you get the flags. That's not what they want to do. What they're saying is you got to get there first. Okay? So those are the updates. I'll keep that up just in case we need it. And here are the build instructions. So this is what I did last night. I came in here and came down here.
Dumped them all in one tub.
Dumped them all. Yeah, that's right. Mixed them all up. And then I went digging. No, I'm just kidding. So I did this. I ended up downloading all files over here in English. And then it ended up,
Can you talk about Model 10?
I can. So you want to go look at 10 specifically? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, 10, the bags. Okay. So here's 10. That's it. We're done. So 10. You built, that's why they're still open here on the table. Okay. I didn't touch these. You build whatever you want out of this. You just make sure that it is at least as big as this blue one here. That's what the rule says. Okay, it needs to be bigger than that. You can build anything out of these white pieces. And there's a couple of red ones in there. You show up with that at the table. And then you can use it to deliver, you need to deliver it somewhere. I can't remember where. We'll look at that in a minute, right? And so you're supposed to use only those pieces. It can be as big or as small. It could be something strategic, right? We'll talk about it in a minute, and I'll have to think about it because I haven't done it yet. But it could be something strategic where you build something in such a way that maybe if you load up some other pieces on there and you deliver that to a circle, you'll get extra points. We'll have to read the rules here in a minute and see, rather than just something random. You see where I'm going with this? Unless a rule tells you you can't do something, you can do it. So that's bag 10. Does that help?
Those two red ones stand out to me. Are they important?
I think you can just use them if you want to, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. I think there's nothing.
How it showed in the videos, that was they used that as the top block, but you probably use it in as long as they give you, creative, no limitations.
Color to the white, so I was just wondering if that's gonna.
Yeah. So mission 11, it's called Innovative Architecture. If there is a team-designed structure clearly bigger than a blue building block, right, which is what we just looked at, built only from your white Lego bricks, and in the picture they use the red, so I think you can use those two pieces. If it's completely in any circle, you get 15 points, and if it's partly in any circle, it's 10.
Let's think about this from a strategy programming aspect of things. Do you think that there's a possibility that you could use a color sensor in some strategic way to
There might be.
identify that red brick.
Oh, there might be. Yeah.
So that's probably why they threw that in there, is to give you an
Oh, here we go, right here. Your mission 11 structure needs to be built from bag 10 elements only. It can include the red and gray elements. Not all of the bag 10 elements need to be used.
Yep.
As long as it's bigger than the blue one, and as the blue block, and as long as you don't use anything outside of those 3 bags, all of them label 10, you're good. So we'll talk about in a minute if there's anything strategic or innovative that we could do with that would help you score more points from the other missions. We'll talk about that. Okay, so that's that. Let me go back to here. Okay, so that's building instructions. Everybody clear on getting that if you haven't built that yet? Here's the kickoff video. Here's the game guide. This is this guy that I have in my hands that I printed that we'll go through in a minute. Okay, coming soon event guide. Okay, participation rules, judging info, rubrics. If you want to know how your kids are going to get judged, you just go look at those rubrics and it tells you exactly how to do it. You want to know how to build your table, your 8x4 wooden table. There's the instructions. Score sheet, very good to look at a score sheet if you want to know how. It's just a really good way to know what everything counts. Teams will design an app that will go on your phones that it takes a couple weeks. I bet you if we looked right now, we might be able to find one. They will design apps that then you can just download on your phone, iPhone or Samsung, and you just have it on your phone so that at the end of the season, as your kids are doing this and you want to know how many points they got, you just go click, 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 click on your phone and it tells you your score. As a matter of fact, and Mitchell's a ref, he can tell us, I think they're looking at completely eliminating paper. What? Oh!
Yeah. There's already several city shapers.
There you go. There you go.
So you download the app and it's super easy to figure out very quickly how many points your kids are at, right? Because it gives a point value for each. So if they completed this mission, yes, right? And it gives point values for that super fast.
Yeah.
They also usually have timers built into them, a lot of the scoring apps. And so that way you can start the kids on the 2.5 minutes. Hey, you're gonna have to do this in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
590. 590.
Here.
590. Just play it.
Oh, you want to play the 590? Okay. All right.
That
All
way
right.
these people can see real world.
So bossy. Hang on. All right. So we'll go.
Yes. It was in the most loving way she could.
Oh gosh, what do we want to say? City shaper. How did I get to it? Does it say 590? There it is, right here.
Yep.
All right.
Hello teams all around the world. It's now 1 week after we announced our first labeling City Shapers Speed Run, and we are done. Here's our robot and all our tuners. As you can see, it fits nicely in the instrumentation area. And now you'll see what we came up with. Okay, guys, you want to be careful because this room is very full.
I haven't watched it yet.
If you don't want to explore too, if you don't want to continue creativity, destroy it. Please don't watch this movie.
Now think of this like Olympic level kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what this is.
Right. So I think that would not be allowed. Yeah. Which might be why they put that update in there. See how it goes.
Mitchell, don't get so excited.
Look at that. Oh.
Uh-oh. Got battery problems again. Is it on now? Must be on now. Not on? What do you mean? Where can you see that?
There's a light that
Oh.
Yep.
Maybe it's just that outlet.
Okay.
That's the thing of beauty right there.
I don't know what to tell you. I may need
It
to.
might be your connector.
They didn't just plug it in the floor and see what happens. They
Now it's back.
no,
Oh, now
there
it's
it
off.
goes. Shoot, man, I may have to check. I have
Here,
another
let's do
surface,
this.
but
Do that.
hang on, I may have another.
Hold on, that might do it.
Hang on, I got another idea.
Nope, that's off. It's turning on and then it's turning off.
Plug this in. Anywhere on the table.
Right there.
Hey, I just created a professional Wix site for my business. Let's check it out. Go to Wix.com. There are hundreds of beautiful templates. Choose one that fits your business the best. With Wix, everything is customized.
Doc, good. Rock and roll.
So Elaine, that's something you actually judged? Yes. I've got them from a couple of years ago, but their attachments were so big, this table wouldn't have been big enough to hold. I mean, huge attachments, which is why they've gone to this year with a smaller. So, not yet. Okay, I think, let me go see if I've got power, and then we're gonna move. We have power, so that works much better. Okay, camera. So now we've got the camera, so hopefully Fairbanks and Palmer can see what's going on over there. Okay, so how about this? Let's gather around the table, and I need maybe a camera operator. How about you feel this a little bit? All right. Can you be my camera operator, Mitchell? Okay, so there's that, and then you can see what they see over here. Can you, hang on. I don't know if there's something else. Me too. All right, I can't for some reason. I'm trying to see if I blow that up so see if Mitchell can see. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's start with how to do dual lock. All right.
Let's roll that over this one.
I'll let you guys dual lock right here.
There's the battery again.
So that's good because it probably come in and plugged just now.
Gosh, if we lose this, this is not going to be
What are
good.
we talking about?
Did I lose you?